Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Akpabio, on Monday this week, hinted that members of Nigeria's National Assembly have been beneficiaries of more than 60% of all contracts awarded over the years by the Niger Delta Development Commission. The NDDC has been in the public glare recently for its inability to balance the books, and a probe instituted to untangle the complications have been hit by a lot of drama, culminating in the fainting or collapse of the acting managing director, interim management committee of the NDDC, Professor Daniel Ponde, while fielding questions from House committee members. When Minister Akpabio took the stand later, the stage was then set for more drama when he brought up the issue of National Assembly members and NDDC contracts.
That most of the contracts in NDDC are given out to members of National Assembly, but you don't know about it.
It's okay. It's okay.
The two chairmen can explain to you. That is why I was a member. I was a member of the NDDC committee.
It's okay. It's okay.
Wait, you were a member of the NDDC and you were a member of the NDDC in the 8th Assembly,
yes.
And are you telling me that lots of jobs were awarded to you as a member?
No, this is a problem. That's why I said you must.
You have the right to accuse people. Then why can't you bring up people that?
To me? One of the chairmen
if
also.
you were not awarded a contract, then why are you coming here that you are aware that you were a member of the NDDC and lots of contracts were awarded to you? You said I'm not aware. I'm telling you that. Bring up those names.
May I inform my honorable sister that is why we have to change.
In a quick reaction to Akpabio's accusation, Speaker of Nigeria's House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, issued an ultimatum, giving the Niger Delta minister 48 hours to provide the names of assembly members that have been awarded NDDC contracts.
Great majority. This is my 5th term here. I've never once collected anything from the National Assembly. And I know I speak for a great majority of members of this House. Great majority. And because of that, I will take this matter and this allegation and accusation very serious. And I will give the minister 24 to 48 hours. And Clark, I want you to back this up with a letter from this House. To give the minister 24 to 48 hours to publish the names, the contracts so given, the dates, because obviously these things will be documented. Unveil the companies of the 60% projects that were given to members of the National Assembly, failing which
Well, joining us now to react to all of that is Agba Jalingo, a journalist, activist, radio host, author, and entrepreneur with close to 20 years' experience in the media. He's currently the publisher of Cross River Watch. Welcome to the program. Good morning, Agba Jalingo.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure being here.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm sure you were watching and you've been following the story between Senator Akpabio and the House of Representatives.
I have been following the drama.
Now he has been given the ultimatum of 48 hours. 24 hours will expire today. By tomorrow morning, it will be 48 hours. Now, what's your take on all of this? And really, when the Speaker of the House of Reps says that he will be visited with the full wrath of the House of Representatives, if he ignores the House of Reps, what exactly can they do to him? And what do you think Senator Akpabio should do in response to that ultimatum and threat?
Well, I will first regret to say that what the Speaker of the Nigeria's House of Representatives said is quite laughable, because I'm still wondering the wrath that the House of Reps have that they will unleash on Akpabio. And in any case, I don't think that there is anything that Akpabio said that was new to Nigerians. He was only regurgitating what we already know since the days of even UNPADEC, and not the only NDDC, that from the time that the Federal Revenue Act in 1981 reserved 1%, 1.5 actually, which was later increased to 3% for the UNPADEC, up till the NDDC, it has been the same story of those who are expected to exercise supervisory oversight over these intervention agencies that have continued to feast on the contracts from these intervention agencies. So Akpabio wasn't saying anything new. We know that members of the House of Representatives are benefiting from these contracts. And I will only encourage Akpabio not to be intimidated by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. He prides himself in being a very proud man, a very confident man, and I think that he will also, in that spirit, go ahead to do the naming ceremony. But I should also remind Nigerians that we have had occasions in this same parliament where people threatened to name names, and those naming ceremonies actually never came. We had a late Deputy Inspector General of Police who told some members of the Senate some time ago to their faces that their files are with him. He had investigated them while he was still in the police service, and they were all 419 members in the Senate. And he threatened to do a naming ceremony. The naming ceremony never came. He went to the Senate, and he lost his balls. I expect that Akpabio will take a different turn. Some people call him the lion of the Niger Delta. I expect that he will also maintain that, that lionish picture that they have painted for him, and then go ahead to tell us those names. We know that he is saying the truth. We are standing by him, and we want him to tell us those who have been feasting on this contract, because that has been the tradition right from the days of UNPADEC until now that we have NDDC. It is not a new thing to us. We know, and we want to encourage him to make sure that that naming ceremony eventually comes. And we are waiting for it after tomorrow.
Well, we are waiting for the lion to roar. Since it says it's a lion, roar those names. But if anything, this unfolding drama has shown the existential corruption, not just in the commission, but also in the institutions that are supposed to oversee the workings of this agency. And sadly, including the interim management committee put together by the president to audit the agency. It is really sad. But why do you think that there's so much corruption here?
You see, 19th of October last year, when President Buhari tweeted, whether he did the tweet by himself or somebody did for him, but it was a tweet on his handle, which announced his extended investigation or probe of the NDDC. I think it was from then that the ball started rolling until we got to where we are today. See, the NDDC, from the first day it was founded, had been suffering the crisis of ownership. The first board of the commission never even had any template to work with. They were the ones that by themselves created a mission statement for themselves. And in their mission statement, if you read it clearly, they said that they were going to facilitate the even and equitable development of the Niger Delta region and make it a prosperous region. And they also went ahead to launch a master plan. That master plan was celebrated. It was actually coordinated by a German consultancy firm, GTZ, and they claimed that more than 100 indigenous firms, consultancy firms in Nigeria, participated in designing that master plan. And we all thought it was a 15-year plan, and we thought that they were going to take it up from there. But up till today, most people in the Niger Delta have continued to see NDDC as a cash cow, not as a development vehicle. We have ranging from identity-based social groups that are agitating in the region, and some human beings who feel that they have become institutions. They are flaunting and just throwing around their political influence. They go with their briefcases to the NDDC and return home with billions of naira. We know that in this country, and they see it as their right. They see it as what they own. They don't think that anybody deserves to ask them questions. And then when they return to the Niger Delta, what they tell the young people is that, see, it is the Hausa man that is stealing your money. It is people from outside the Niger Delta that are stealing your money. Yet it is these individuals. Corruption has continued to persist in these agencies because, like I said, the owners, those who are supposed to benefit, the region that is supposed to benefit from these intervention agencies, have rather continued to see these interventions as their money. Once they give these agencies the money, they go around wanting to take this money, and that has been the tradition. The only undoing of Nigeria is that we haven't had a government that is sincere about dealing with corruption in these agencies. And that is also because both the auditors The National Assembly that is supposed to supervise and oversight, the interim management committee, like you call them, all of them have their hands in the cookie jar. None of them is clean. In fact, this drama that is going on, if I must speak to you from my heart, I do not think that it is going to end anywhere. Because this government is not ready to fight corruption, they are going to feed us with all of this until another national issue comes to the headline and then drive us away from here. My hope is that maybe after 2023, when these people leave, these figures you are hearing are even small. I can bet you that when these people leave, Dasuki gates will be like pocket money. When the figures start tumbling in, I do hope that the next government will have the balls to deal with these people because they have stolen this country blind, and even this investigation, I bet you, will not end anywhere. But it will definitely produce documents for us to bring us from the shelves tomorrow and find out who exactly needs to be dealt with. I am very, very confident that Nigeria, we missed the opportunity and the expectations that came with the Buhari administration. They have failed woefully to fight corruption, and we hope that whoever takes over from him will be able to dust these books and deal with whoever has been stealing money from the Niger Delta.
I mean, I've got two questions for you quickly. But at first, you're saying this government is not ready to fight corruption when one of the greatest stands of this government is to fight corruption. And we're seeing the cases already. So a lot of people will argue otherwise with you. That's number one for you. Number two, I want to talk about the role of the communities and the indigenous group settings and organizations. Take, for instance, people like Rural Progress Union, what is it called, PANDEF. You've got other groups like Ijaw National Front. You've got, Isoko Development Group and the likes of groups like that. What is their role in all of this? Because these people represent the communities. And these are the communities that have been left behind. Take, for instance, the Isoko group was speaking yesterday, and they said, we hardly see any form of development. That's why we too should get marginal fields. You should leave some aside for us, because 19% of, oil that comes out of Delta State come from Isoko land. So what are these groups doing?
Okay, first and foremost, your question was about corruption, whether this government is ready to fight corruption or not. Let me quickly try to attend to that. In 2015, December precisely, when President Buhari took over, the NDDC board was headed by a crossivarian like me, Senator Henshaw, who was the chairman of the board, and Dan Abia was the managing director. And I remember that Buhari sacked that management for alleged contract splitting. The MD single-handedly signed an LPO of over 888 million naira for the purchase of 40 SUVs, including 4 armored cars, for the agency, even though they were not in need of any vehicles. And then they also spent 12.5 billion to buy vehicles for the Nigerian police. And in order to avoid the procurement bureau, what they did was to split these contracts into 12, 988 million naira each, and just give them to their friends and family members to supply those vehicles. A government that is willing to fight corruption will not only ask them to go home, you will charge them to court and take them to jail. But the government just simply asked them to go home and disbanded that particular board. So it is one instance, this government is not serious about fighting corruption. In fact, they are so immersed in corruption that every other day, the kind of figures that are coming out, we're embarrassed. The two major people that are supposed to fight corruption in Nigeria, the head of EFCC and the Attorney General, are accusing themselves of corruption. That is a clear answer to the fact that this government is not interested in fighting corruption. Having said that, I go back to this group. Like I told you, even when President Jonathan was president of Nigeria, if you go to the Niger Delta, apart from NDDC, we have other intervention projects, like the amnesty program. We have the 13% derivation. It was even the failure of the NDDC that led to the creation of the Ministry of Niger Delta by President Yaradua to see how more money could go into the region for development. And the more money is going into the region, the money ends up in the hands of criminals who call themselves freedom fighters in the Niger Delta. That is with due respect to those who are truly agitating for the development of the region. But most of the people that have been the faces of this agitation in the past 15 years are clearly people who are associated with criminal tendencies, people who are destroying pipelines in the Niger Delta with the aim of benefiting from the amnesty program. Their intention is not to develop the Niger Delta. If they are concerned about the development of the region, they will start first and foremost from holding the leaders of the region accountable. We have so many people in the Niger Delta who do not have any means of living. And they are living in so much affluence, and the affluence, they end it only by the AK-47 economy. Because they took up arms to destroy pipelines, destroy the vegetations of the Niger Delta. I am also from the Niger Delta. These are the people that call themselves our rights advocates. Sometimes stark illiterates. Sometimes just gunmen, the only thing they have to offer is the AK-47 economy, the bullet and the gun. They are looking for their pockets. I have a friend, I don't want to call his name, who is also a militant leader. We had a quarrel because I asked him why he was locking up over 500 million naira in his garage when he didn't even have an industry that was manufacturing pure water. He became angry with me. And like I said, I don't want to mention names. And we have all of them like that scattered all over the region. They will, even if the government gives them 500 million, 1 billion individually, they will not build anything in the Niger Delta. They will rush with the money to Lagos. Some are rushing with it to Cotonou to build universities and other institutions. Tompolo had them locked up everywhere. They have so much money and they don't have any industry employing anybody, including even opinion leaders of thought in the region. They will come and invest in Lagos. They will take the money and ship it overseas like it is typical of Nigerian politicians. So I will repeat again that these groups are not meant for the development of the Niger Delta. They are just identity social movements that are looking for relevance and, of course, how to benefit from the national cake. And they have done that successfully. And it is time for Nigerians to shift their attention to the structures that will be able to bring development to this country, possibly by looking for a leader that will be serious about fighting this corruption that has become a very serious problem in the region.
Agba Jalingo, we all know what the problems are, particularly with regard to the NDDC. We've had many guests on this program who have helped us to define the problem. But how do you think that interventionist agency can be repositioned? What needs to be done? Because we have asked some of our guests, should it even be scrapped on the basis of all these problems? Nobody has said it should be scrapped. But how do you reposition it?
Yeah, I also don't agree that it should be scrapped because regardless of the criticisms, there are a few interventions that they have done that have actually lifted a few people in the region. It's just that it's not commensurate with the volume of money that is being pumped in there. So I will not subscribe to the fact that it should be scrapped. I will think that Nigerians should demand that anybody that has been associated with stealing money from those intervention agencies must be dealt with. Because until we see one of these people sent to jail to go and cool off there, all other persons that will come after will continue to feel that those places are cash cows, and once you get in there, you are just meant to go and share money for some powerful people in the region to appease them. We need to deal with the corruption in these intervention agencies. That is where to start from. I don't think there is any other way, because if we don't get to arrest some people, take them to court, and make them do their time in jail, because when people steal money from these agencies, they just tap their back and say, go home. No. They have sacked the board. They have sacked this.
Hold it. The point about corruption has been well made.
Yes.
When I asked that question about repositioning it, I'm talking in terms of governance issues.
Okay.
What are those governance issues that need to be addressed? Is it procurement? Is it the appointments? Yes. These are the issues.
I do think that the appointment of people to head this intervention agency should shift from politics to bureaucrats. I don't know where we are going to find them from, but I'm sure there are a lot of them within the Niger Delta region. Most of the people that have been appointed into these agencies are people that come with a lot of political baggages. And then they also know how to abuse procurement laws. Like we talk about here, maybe the procurement processes in these agencies actually need to be strengthened for better performance. It is very, very important because it appears that there are a lot of loopholes in these processes that the managers are taking advantage of. And part of what should come out of this investigation in the National Assembly is to see how they can strengthen the procurement laws and make them more stringent and more difficult for these people to handle these projects by themselves. Then there are also underlying structural problems that are bedeviling some of these agencies. Some of them are created without clear-cut directions. Like I said, when the NDDC was created, from the onset, it has suffered identity crisis. There's a need to also strengthen their goals, their missions, and their vision to define these things clearly and get more community engagement. Because most of these things happen in Abuja and in Port Harcourt. The communities are completely cut off from what is going on. And I think that in setting up these things, there should be more of local community engagement. And then the citizens, too, should also take interest in what is going on here and come up with new technology that we can be able to monitor and track some of these projects. And then make more forceful use of the Freedom of Information Act to see how we can sniff out some of this information. Because I have been thinking as a journalist all along, what can I do? Is there any way we can use the FOI bill to get Akpabio to release those names that he has threatened because the citizens also have a role to play. As journalists, we have a role to play. As communities, we also have a role to play to make sure that these agencies become more accountable and transparent after this, as we move on from this investigation.
Indeed. I mean, you have said that the figures we are hearing may even be underreported and that it's not a surprise. Yeah. But as a journalist and one who is also from the region, are you surprised? Is this what you were expecting to see and hear from the investigative panel of the National Assembly?
Very honestly, I wasn't expecting any different. There's a lot of drama in that place. I wasn't expecting anybody to come there and own up that they were guilty of anything or that a report will be produced that they will be punished. I was expecting this drama. And the moment former Governor Akpabio, the minister, told them that these contracts are also given to National Assembly members, I knew that was the end of this whole drama. And these people, it's a class battle. These people will not sink themselves. The moment he pointed those fingers and threw that accusation at them, they knew that the ruling class knows what to do at every point in time. They will find a way of making sure the bells go silent. But I want to send a message to the people of the Niger Delta. Enough of these leaders coming to tell us that it is people from other regions that are the cause of our underdevelopment. And I think young people in the Niger Delta must get that stuck into their heads. Most of the people singing that song are the ones stealing this money. I am seeing a picture there. I saw that prof. He told us we are NDDC. We have used 1.5 billion naira to take care of ourselves. We will take care of ourselves first before other people. And then they shared 1.5 billion naira. That same man will tell you that it is the Hausa man that is the cause of the underdevelopment of the Niger Delta. We must throw that gospel away and learn to hold our leaders in the region responsible. I have decided that instead of I've been talking about Buhari every day, I will hold Ben Ayade and the commissioners in Cross River State accountable for our money before I talk about Abuja. Everything happening in my state, I will participate in holding them because it is easier for me to hold them accountable, harass them, than looking at Abuja. And I think that all of us in the 9 states of the Niger Delta should begin to develop that attitude. Ask our ministers, ask our state commissioners, ask our state governors what exactly they are doing with all the money that is being pumped into that region. It is a very good starting point. We should not allow these people to continue telling us that all our money is going to develop Abuja, develop the little that is coming. Where is it? That is where I think that young people in the region should start from. But unfortunately, the hunger and the politics in the region will not allow young people to think that way. And I am begging that we should shift our thinking a little bit and start holding our leaders accountable. If charity begins at home, if we begin to do that, I'm sure that things will improve, no matter how small in the years ahead.
Agba, I want to talk about structure. So you said it was because of the failings of the NDDC that President Umar Musa Yar'Adua created the Niger Delta Ministry. Yes. So if you have a Niger Delta Ministry, why do you need for an NDDC again? And isn't it shocking for you that the so-called Niger Delta Ministry are supposed to help, in piloting the affairs and bringing about more development to the region? The minister here is mentioned in this case. That's one. And secondly, isn't it a very funny trend we have started that we cannot complete? Because obviously we have Northeast Development Commission too. If there are discrepancies there, are we not going to create a Ministry of Northeast Development? And if we finally get a Southwest Development, are we not keep going to create ministries and ministries, and we keep talking about a smaller government, a cohesive government that will reduce cost?
Well, we can never have enough interventionist agencies in the Niger Delta.
And also, we should keep having interventionist ministries?
No. You see, the NDDC actually, like I said, from their mission statement, their task was actually to coordinate other interventionist agencies in the region, like the ministry, the amnesty program, the 13% drive, all other development goals were supposed to be coordinated. The NDDC was supposed to be like a facilitator. And it is their own failure that has also extended to other parts. And honestly, I think that we cannot have enough of these agencies. It is only how these monies are being used that is a problem. The region has suffered a lot for so many years, there's no doubt about that. The region has suffered, the region is in dire need of more and more resources. I think what we should question is how these monies are being used. And indeed, every part of Nigeria requires intervention, not just the Niger Delta, but all over the country, we require this intervention. As long as they are targeted towards development, they are necessary. The more, the merrier. What we should question is how the monies that are channeled to them is being used. That is what Nigerians are failing to do, because in Nigeria today, like Dr. Ruben just said, the Anang Foundation, people are stealing. People do not see stealing as wrong as far as the thief is from your ethnic group, as far as the thief is from your church or is your religion. If you're a Muslim, the thief is a Muslim, is our own. If you're a Christian, even a Christian, if you're Catholic and not Pentecostal, you criticize. But as far as it's from your village or is your language man, the corruption is fine. And we need to break that wall. We need to know that corruption does not have a tribe. Those who steal our money do not care about where we come from. And that is the attitude we should wear. I will not sincerely criticize the creation of intervention agencies for any part in Nigeria, because there is no part in this country that is developed, apart from Lagos. So all of them need these agencies. But we should question how the monies that are sent to these agencies are being utilized. That is a lot more important for me.
Well, you said except Lagos. Even the people of Lagos will insist that Lagos also needs a special status and a special intervention.
Lagos needs a special status, no doubt about that.
Let's take a quick commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Still with us is Agba Jalingo, a journalist, activist, radio show host, and publisher, who has been talking about the battle of wills between the minister, Akpabio, and members of the House of Representatives Committee on the NDDC. Now, Agba Jalingo, thank you for staying with us. I was going to ask you, I mean, you're a journalist, and you must have been following this story, quite closely. Now, is there really a forensic audit going on? Because we have had persons on this program who have said, look, there is no forensic audit. And then, of course, you have had persons also expressing the view publicly that there is actually a forensic audit going on. But with the way the whole process has been politicized, do you think that the federal government needs to take a second look at the nature and structure of that forensic audit, if at all it is ongoing?
Well, I don't think that if what is happening in the House of Reps is what they are calling a forensic audit, then that is a hoax. That cannot be an audit. But I want to take seriously the intention of President Buhari in December last year when I said he tweeted that he wanted an audit of that agency. And if he is serious with that, if he is still aware, because he's usually not aware of so many things, if he's still aware, I will suggest that he should take it more seriously and reject the process. As far as the National Assembly probe is concerned, the moment Akpabio threw that thing back at the lawmakers, that probe has ended. Every other thing you are going to see there is drama. He has completely told them that we are all involved in this. If we go down, we go down together. That is exactly what Akpabio has told them. So the president needs to bring in professionals who will come and do an audit, because Nigerians are eagerly waiting to hear what has been happening in that agency, that commission rather, since its creation. We know that we are not going to get that from this National Assembly with what they are doing there. The president needs to put together professionals, put together experts and auditors to look at those figures properly and come up with a report that will be able to stand the test of time, that will be able to make it easier for prosecutors to look at the lines and find somebody that will go to jail for all this stealing. But what is happening in the National Assembly, I repeat again, it is just drama, and it's going to end as drama. And then all of us will just laugh, clap, and move on to another thing. But if the president is serious, he needs to give it a second look and then put together independent people that will actually do an audit and bring out a report for Nigerians.
Although the minister did mention that an independent audit firm has commenced work, he mentioned Ernst & Young, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to ask you, because in the course of this unfolding drama, we have seen sexual harassment allegations, invasion of property. We've seen a fainting acting MD. We've seen a chairman recusing himself. And there are some Nigerians who say that the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs is neck deep in all of this. In fact, the chairman of the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, Professor Isse Sage, says the minister should resign. As a journalist and one who has been watching this and somebody who is from the region, do you think that as a matter of uncommon integrity, the minister should perhaps resign?
Yes. For the sake of integrity, I think he should be out of that office pending when that audit is completed. And if he's not found culpable in anything, he can honorably take back his uncommon office. Talking about the allegations of rape, I think that Joy Nunia is a lawyer. She's an adult. Akpabio is an adult. If there was any case of sexual harassment, a lawyer of that standing should know what to do. I consider most of as serious as allegations of rape and sexual harassment are, people should not trivialize them. If you are serious about somebody harassing you sexually, as a lawyer of that standing, you should know exactly what to do to deal with that. And I consider some of those things distractions from the real issues that we want to hear. Those are very serious allegations, but every time these matters come up, when they steal so much money, when you bring up these things, they bring all these, dance around these issues to see how they can divert our attention. Mrs. Nunez should go to court or get the police to report officially that Akpabio harassed me sexually. She knows what to do. Get her lawyers to deal with that. There are 2 adults, they can deal with that matter. The matter on the ground now is how our money, public money, has been spent within the NDDC and other intervention agencies. And if this probe will continue, I support those who are saying that I keep calling him Governor Akpabio, the Minister of Niger Delta should step down while the investigation is going on. Because he cannot, you look at the way and manner they went to invade her house, whether Akpabio is involved or not, but that is the sort of brigandage that we have seen associated with this government all over the place. Even me, they had to break into my house to arrest me without a warrant. We have seen it happen in this government over and over and over and over. So, like I said, I am hopeful that this will pass in the next 1,040-something days, and we will have another government that will be serious about dealing with this. Every expectation I had about this government, about dealing with criminality, dealing with corruption, dealing with brigandage, has long flown through the window, and I am only waiting for this grueling remaining 1,043 days to just come and pass, so that Nigeria will have a fresh breath of air and we'll have another government that will come and face these issues, if God allows us.
I want to ask you this as a journalist. Have you been watching the depositions, or the revelations, I should say, of a certain Mr. Callaway Johnson as regards the facts he's been churning out? I mean, what's your take on that? Because when a lot of people call for forensics, I'm saying that's some level of forensics myself. You know, giving specific dates, account monies were paid to, and the likes, who collected what and who. You want to talk through that?
Very, very interesting. And those are the kind of people that should be brought to the table during the forensic investigation, if they really mean it. The numbers he has been given are very, very intriguing. And I think that anybody that is serious about this process should take it very, very seriously. And I will think that he should be invited to the table. Let them give him a seat on the table and incorporate his information into the much that they already have. He's been doing quite a great job, and he should be taken very seriously.
Well, Agba Jalingo, I don't know whether this is a digression or not. We spent quite some time talking about the NDDC, but I know that recently there was an issue in your state. Again, all of this having to do with issues of transparency and accountability. Yes, and I'm referring to the face-off you had with Senator Itagiwa, yes, over the allocation of some buildings at the Bakassi estate. Yes. Now, have you been able to resolve that matter? Because she expressly accused you of defamation.
Well, there was actually nothing to resolve because the story is that the governor promised to build houses for the people of Bakassi. And after 5 years, 52 houses were made available, 2-bedroom apartments in an estate somewhere in Akpabio local government. And Itagiwa was made, Senator Itagiwa was made the chairman of the allocation committee of those buildings. And they fixed a ceremony. The governor went there, and they brought out an 80-year-old woman. They used her for photo ops and did a ceremony, and they danced and did videos and sent them around. And as a journalist, 3 days after, we went back to that place to check how the new residents were doing in their estate. And when we got there, we found out it was a ghost town. There was no human being living in the estate after that ceremony. And then we started our own contact tracing, as it were. And we traced that 80-year-old woman to her waterside shanty, where she went back to. That took us another 2 days of tracing the woman. And then when we eventually found her, we spoke to her, and she spoke in the Ibibio language, where she said, the governor is a nice man. Well, I ate with him. We came here, promised me house. They said they will give me 500,000, but they have not given me. I'm back home here. Please, help us tell the governor that I need house. He's a fine man. He's a handsome man. I love him. And then we put the video out. I even spoke with the governor, as a matter of fact, that this house has not been given to anybody. That place is empty. And I think the governor reached out to Itagiwa, and the senator woke up late in the night. I'm sorry I had to make her go through that. She woke up late in the night and rushed to the estate and went to intimidate the old woman. Why did you go and talk to the media? Why did you go and talk to the media? And then people started blaming us. I said, no, we didn't say anything. This is what happened. Eventually, they went back there the second time to hand over an envelope with 500,000 naira to the woman. After they snapped pictures again, they left. And the woman never got the money. We went back there the second time, and the woman said they only gave me 20,000 naira and left with the rest of the money. We still reported it. And then, of course, Senator Itagiwa became angry. He said I should apologize to her. I said, I am not going to apologize. You have all your life used Bakassi as a meal ticket, feasting on the people of Bakassi without accountability. And I am going to ask you these questions until you give account. She said,
Agba Jalingo.
She has not sued me. I'm waiting for her to sue. She said you sued me for 900 million naira. And I've been waiting for the suit. She
Unfortunately, we've run out of time. I'm sure Senator Itagiwa will also have an opportunity to respond to that allegation.
I hope so.
Yes, because we have a business to be fair to all parties concerned.